Welcome to the 59th. We were talking about it a few minutes ago. How long has this been going on? This is the 59th Goddard Memorial Symposium. And I'm really pleased and honored to be able to be part of it. Our theme this year is envisioning our future in space. And I am Alan DeLuna. I'm president of the American Astronautical Society, so they have to tolerate me for a while. So on behalf of the society, we thank you very much for participating in this event. And over the next 3 days, 3 half days, we made that change this year, 3 half days. We've got a tremendous lineup of space and industry leadership that we'll discuss. It says all of the latest news in space. Well, some of the latest news in space flight. Things are always changing. Things are always going. Things are going quickly. So we're going to try to catch up with some of it. And we're going to discuss what's going on. And we do mean discuss. When we have Q&A periods, we expect Q&A. We're not going to, each speaker has been asked to make sure they stop and have enough time for Q&A. And we're going to ask you guys to be paying attention to what's going on and help us explore the topics more thoroughly with your Q&A. And I think that will be great. Now, let's see, do we have the sponsors slide? Yay, yay, it's moving. One of the hardest things to do when you're an MC is waiting for everybody to be ready and you're pacing and stuff. So our sponsors are here. Aerojet Rocketdyne, the Aerospace Corporation, Ball Corporation, Johns Hopkins University, L3 Harris, Northrop Grumman, SAIC, Teledyne Brown Engineering, and our media sponsor is Space News. So we would like to thank them all for their support to this event and this activity. And also we'd like to thank everybody at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center and the University of Maryland for helping us put this together, being our host and being our primary sponsor. And we're really glad to be working with you guys. Now we also have a planning committee. We have a list of names of about 30 people. I'm not going to try to read them because I don't have them here. But we do have a good planning committee that's been working for several months on this. And that planning committee was chaired by Michelle Thaler and by Steve Arnold. Steve, are you in here? I don't recognize without mask. Steve, where? Okay, Michelle, is there anything you would like to say? Okay.
It is such an honor to be on this planning committee. Thank you so much for all the people that are attending, both here and people that are virtual with us today. It's an honor to work with you. It's incredible that I have so many people I can call on to help. The planning committee was just absolutely amazing. So thank you again. You know, there's so many people here from industry, from academics, from government. We're all in this, you know, in our careers, you know, this is what we do for our jobs. When I look at what we have in front of us for the next 3 days, please take some time to sit back and be inspired and to really enjoy what you're going to hear, because you're going to hear about results that blow my mind. And I've been an astrophysicist for 25 years, and the celebration of what has been, you know, this amazing James Webb Space Telescope and everything else we're going to talk about, missions to Venus, missions to the moon, the technology. So if I can ask you to sort of, you know, just take a little break every now and then, look around you and think about the amazing industry that we're in. And it's an honor to be here with you today. And I'm looking forward to meeting more of you at the reception tonight. So thank you very much.
Try another path with the slides. Michelle has really been engaged in this. The other night, she sent out a little couple paragraph description of things that are being done in Goddard. And I sent her a note and said, Michelle, this is great. We should have, I would have loved to have this. You know, I will use it in future years. And she said, well, I just threw that together after I had dinner and had some time to think. And it was about 17 pages of all the things that are going on here at Goddard. And she did it off the top of her head, and that's great. So for our first speaker, we've got Alison Flatau. Alison is a professor and acting chair of the Aerospace Engineering Department at the University of Maryland.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for coming to visit our campus. We are really excited to be hosting this for the first of what I hope will be a many-year friendship between the two organizations. I'm Alison Flatau. I'm the acting chair of the department right now. And on behalf of President Pines, who helped put Jim Way in touch with me, he also sends his regards and thanks you for coming to visit us. I will say one of his biggest initiatives has been inclusiveness, inclusive excellence. So one of the things to know about our campus is you are now on the ancestral lands of the Piscataway people. This is land that was stolen by the European colonists, ultimately became a plantation for Charles Calvert, who was a direct descendant of all of the Lords Baltimore who first settled in the state, and was also a slave owner. And in 1856, he founded the first agricultural college in the US. And fast forward to today, we are a very inclusive campus with lots of excellent students, staff, and faculty. The agricultural college became the campus we know today with 1,333 acres. In case you're wondering, this is spring break. That's why you don't see our 40,000 undergrads and grads. It's 31,000 undergrads, 10,000 grads. Within our aerospace engineering department, we have 620 undergrads and about 130 grad students. Many of them, or at least some of them, are here, even though it's spring break. Oh, and you got the pictures up. These are our students are going to help provide tours tomorrow after the keynote luncheon speaker. One of the facilities we'll be going to is the neutral buoyancy facility, 50-foot wide, 25-foot deep research facility. I'm not going to spend time on these other than they are a teaser. Please come on our tours. Do we have the next slide? We'll just pop right through them here. This is the neutral buoyancy facility. We're now up to the 111th balloon payload for near space science. Next slide. We have research on the Mars helicopter. We are designing the blades that are being used by JPL. Next slide. We will have a tour. Charles Pett over here is one of the grad students working on planetary dust, and he can show you dust experiments. And next slide. Next slide. More dust, a little bit more about the setup in the dust, computational work and experimental work. And I believe the next is our last slide. Oh, two more. Hypersonics. So we also have students, if you see the letters HAPL, that's a hypersonics lab. This is in the same facility where the dust experiments will be. And the last slide. We are so lucky to be so close to Goddard because we get researchers from Goddard who come teach electives for us. And this is just one example. Eric Selt has been teaching for us for a number of years and just released a textbook on his class here on spacecraft thermal design. And he's a director over at Goddard. So welcome. You have any questions, please look for the folks that look like they're undergrads and grad students, because they probably are. And we'll be happy to show you around. So welcome again.
I didn't even know those slides were coming. That's great. Those are exciting. So now we have Ann Kinney. She's the Deputy Center Director at Goddard.
Thanks, Alan. This is my first meeting in 2 years. I don't know how many of the rest of you have been to meetings, but wow, just to be in the same room with people is really nice. I'm Ann Kinney. I'm Deputy Director of NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. Welcome to the Goddard Memorial Symposium. We're really happy that you took the effort to come and to be here in person. Dennis Andrusik was really sorry that he couldn't come, but this symposium always meant a lot to him, both as a TERPS alumni, where he studied electrical engineering, and as the Goddard Center Director. The Goddard Symposium serves as a forum for a powerful conversation between the diverse groups that are working with and working at NASA and Goddard Space Flight Center. It's great to see many familiar faces and also to see new members of the space community in the crowd. This is one of the defining features of the Goddard Symposium. We have seasoned experts speaking about the challenges in our industry in a forum where interactions between senior career, mid-career, and early career people are easy and encouraged. I'm pleased to be moderating the panel on the Astronomy 2020 Decadal about an hour from now, but I'm also very much looking forward to hearing from all of you, the moderators, the speakers, and the attendees. It's a timely program and a great speaker list with a really appropriate theme, envisioning our future in space. The industry is going through many transitions at the moment, with major changes taking place across human spaceflight, space technology, and also in space and Earth science landscape. This symposium will address many of them. At Goddard, I'm proud that we're working across the spectrum of all of these challenges, but I know we can't do it alone. We need the collaborative resources of all of our partners, many of whom are represented here today. So let me end with my thank you list, but it's quite a long thank you list. I'd like to thank the sponsors of the event, not only for your sponsorship over the next 3 days, but also for your continued commitment to the future of space exploration. I'd like to give a warm thank you to the American Astronautical Society, Executive Director Jim Way and his staff, and AAS President Alan DeLuna. This partnership between AAS and Goddard has been going on for nearly 60 symposia, and we hope it will continue for at least as many more. A warm thank you to the members of the Planning Committee as well, led by co-chairs Michelle Thaler, hats off. Michelle Thaler's from Goddard, and also from Steve Arnold from Applied Physics Lab at Johns Hopkins University. I know this has been months in the making, and that putting everything together with the uncertainty of the pandemic really has not been easy. And thank you again to the University of Maryland and Professor Alison Flatau. I believe this is the first time that the symposium has been held in this beautiful venue, and we can see why Jim sought the place out. It's just a beautiful facility. And finally, a very warm thank you to the attendees. We all know that critical knowledge sharing is really important in this business. And this particular symposium has been at the forefront with the attendees driving our collective conversation. Again, on behalf of those at Goddard, thank you to everyone who's making this happen. And I look forward to a lot of engaging discourse in the days ahead. And with that, let me turn it back to Alan.
Wow. Okay, I pushed the button, it do nothing. Oh, he's looking for slides. Okay, well, we'll let them catch up. Interesting little machine. It has a button forward and a button backwards, but you don't know which way is forward or backwards because it doesn't tell you which way is up. Oh, yeah, those engineers. Okay, so thank you, Alison and Ann. Jim Way is our executive director, and for the next 3 days, we're going to be here co-hosts, your co-MCs. And before we start our first session, I've got some logistical things for you. The first one is Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi instructions are scattered around the room on little pieces of white paper on your desks. I've been told that if you have a problem logging into it, go ahead and shut down your Wi-Fi transmitter and turn it back on, and you may be more successful. Sometimes the first try locks you out. Second, our session intros are going to be really short. You notice I was really short with the intros. I didn't mean to diss our folks here that spoke, but purposely our intros are very short. Just the name and the title so that we can get more time for the material for the Q&A. Now, when you in the audience want to ask a question, raise your hand, and somebody's going to come and somebody's going to recognize you. So we may have 3 or 4 hands up and the MC here or walking around here, either me or Jim will recognize you and we'll have somebody that will bring you a microphone so that everybody can hear what you're going to say. And so that the audience, we've got an audience of up to 100 people out there right now. We've got around 190 people registered for face-to-face and 100 people registered for online. So that's pretty good for where we are today. Now, so raise your hand and ask your question, and a question is 1 sentence. If you have to go 2 sentences, maybe we'll let you go with that, but that's about it. If you have to take a breath, then you finish your question. We want to move things. We don't need speeches. I make the speeches. You guys ask questions. Now, we need to encourage a little sensitivity in some of the Q&As. We understand there's lots of things going out, and you read in the blogs, you read on the space news, you read here and there. There's lots of things going on that affect the space biz. We're not here to talk about the politics of it. Additionally, as far as we know, right now, in our biggest cooperative activity, the ISS, things are going on exactly as planned on orbit. The people are working well together, they're transiting places together, they're sitting down to dinner together. So as far as we know on orbit, that's what's going on. And we don't need to make speculation as to what may happen tomorrow or what may happen next week or next month or next year in ISS due to partnership issues, or we're going to talk about, I think we're talking about the moon program a little bit. So we don't need to postulate or speculate as to what's going on in there. So be kind to our speakers, be kind to our NASA friends. Let's just not ask questions, because the answer is, I cannot say. So that's where all I'm going to say about that. Social media. I don't know what social media is. I really don't. But if you're using Twitter or other social media, I'll read this. Do we have a slide with that? Oh, yes, good. If you're using Twitter or other social media, our hashtag is #Goddard22. I had to do that for the audience online. Follow us online on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So, face-to-face, I had a whole list of things I wanted to talk about. But I noticed a few things this morning in coming in. I haven't been traveling as much as I used to. This is the first real trip we've done since Christmas. And then the trip before that was to St. Petersburg. I used to go to work in my later years, driving my car, tying my tie on the way to work, blindly tying my tie. And then I haven't been to a place where I wore a tie in a year, or 2, or maybe 2.5. And I could not tie my tie today. I was standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom going, what's going on? I couldn't do it. So I closed my eyes and turned around so I couldn't see the mirror. And it worked. So there's lots of things that you learn or relearn, things we're having opportunities to go off and do. But one of the best things about is getting face-to-face is being able to see people and their expressions. Now, in here, you do have to wear your mask when you're not speaking. It's okay for me because I speak all the time. But in here, wear your mask when you're not speaking or when you're not taking a drink of water or something. Otherwise, outside, in our breaks and things and in our reception, it is mask-free. So with that, we finished everything we have to finish.